doing today? I'm Gabriel Bassett, and we're going to code some various breaches. So the idea is that we're going to look up news articles of publicly disclosed breaches, and we're going to turn them into structured data. So let's get started. I'm starting a little late. One of the things with the floaty lines background is that it was taking up a lot of CPU power. And so I went and locked the frame rate this morning to try to prevent it from taxing the CPU, because I think it was just spinning frames pretty quickly, and I really wasn't sure how many frames it was creating, but it was a lot. I also put in those little lines just for the fun of it, which are in the wrong place. Like the camera is like angled up like this, and so the lines are this weird plane over here. I'm not good at 3D, so I'm learning. So, here we go. Let's get started. We're going to go in and check out the issues that are assigned to me. And I am not signed in. Well, that is unfortunate. I'm going to move that over here, and we'll get signed in real quick. Though, of course, the issue is I have to use my two-factor, my YubiKey to authenticate. But thankfully, since this supports FIDO, I can just hit the button. I don't have to use the like the phone app, because I've got a Pixel 3 in the NFC pickup on the Pixel 3 isn't as great as some other phones. So there we go. We're signed in, and we can go look at my issues here. Starting off, Loudon Medical Group, DBA, Sleep Care Center. Loudon Medical Group, DBA, Comprehensive Sleep Care Center notifies patients after employee emails account compromised. I don't know, I'm going to skip the PHI ones and go to random assignments. Laid off Hewlett Packard employee who shut down Oregon Medicaid computers gets home detention. That's probably not going to be this year if they've already closed the legal case, but it sounds really interesting. So we'll give that an open up. Okay. A fired HP employee worker who shut down Oregon's Medicaid Center system computers for a day as retaliation for losing his job, sentenced Monday to a year of home detention, 500 plus hours of community service, and 4 years of federal probation. Hassan Haidari, 62, said the actions resulted from an irrational outburst. He pleaded guilty. And see that I didn't made a mistake. I'm deeply regretful. So what did he do? He worked there for 16 years. Oh, man. Yeah, that's rough. Okay. Systems for a day on October 16th. So we've got the date. We know the victim's information. We don't know any of the actions. We know what was the attribute. We know that it lasted for a day, so we know the duration. Intentionally shut down the computer made for a day. 3 prosecutors. Shutdown occurred. Ran 3 computer commands. He told the court. Okay, so we know it's action, usive things. So we actually have a lot of information we can code here. So let's get started. Here. I'm having problems with autocomplete here. Oh well. So this happened in 2016, October 2016. So this would actually go in the 2017 report, or it would be counted against the 2017 report. And so, we won't see it in the 2020 DVR, but if we look at things that go over time over VCDB, we'll see it in that. Let's see. Here's our case number, and then the references are the URLs that we use to code it from, and these are also useful to cross-referencing with other sources. A lot of organizations which use breaches these days use them by doing FOIA requests or getting other kind of publicly disclosed breaches, and so it's easy to run into duplicates in publicly disclosed breaches. Summary. Actions by fired employee. Denied availability of Medicaid systems for 1 day. I'll spell one out. 1 day. There we go. Okay, confidence. This has been case, so it's pretty clear what happened. We all kind of agree what happened. So we know the date, 2016, October 23rd. Compromise took seconds because he ran commands. Exfiltration doesn't apply because it didn't occur. Discovery, we'll assume minutes because the next stop is hours and it clearly took less than hours. Containment was hours, so 24 hours, 1 day. Notification, I don't think we have notification. It doesn't really apply unless you're notifying people of victims of a breach. So the victim is state of Oregon? In Oregon. Because I don't know who administers Oregon's Medicaid. I guess we could search for that. Who administers Oregon's Medicaid? Oregon Health Authority, maybe. Health Authority. And I wonder about the number of employees. Oh. Oregon Health Authority. Health Authority. Number of employees. Number of employees pulling down at least 99,000. I just want to know the overall number. Like how many people work there? Salary pot from 202 million to 262 in 3 years. His payroll's increased from 3,000 to 4,500. That is what we need to know. Industry. This will be government, health, and public health and veterans affairs. Public administration of health, human resource programs, except health. So public health programs. There we are. Copy that in. Locations affected: 1 in the United States and North America and Oregon. This or there weren't any secondary victims in this one. I think the fact that the employee worked for Hewlett Packard is immaterial. It wasn't Hewlett Packard as an organization attacking the Oregon Republic of Health, and it wasn't a breach of Hewlett Packard systems. It sounds like it was specifically a breach of Oregon systems. If the attacker, the actor, had compromised an HP system and downed systems that were owned and operated by HP, that were then providing the service to Oregon, I think that you could say that HP was the victim and then Oregon was the secondary victim. But I don't. The way it's described, that's not the case here. Action, hacking. Let's see. It's going to be use of just use of functionality. Use of functionality. It looks like physical access at the keyboard. This was used for not really infiltration. I think we need like actions on target or something to that effect and results. Just the things that you do on the target, both lateral pivoting as well as realizing objectives, maybe, other than exfiltrating data. But it wasn't any of those things. No malware, error, misuse. Well, actually, this probably should be misuse instead of hacking, because he had access, legitimate access, and so data mishandling, no knowledge, possession abuse, privilege abuse. He had abuse privileges to use these, and we'll say physical access. It's more access to the network in this case. So misuse by an internal actor who was a system admin. Grudge or personal offense. Let go. We don't code that a lot, but it just doesn't come up a lot. But sometimes it does. Assets, unknown. These are going to be server assets. Server unknown. And we don't know how many. It sounds like they were on-prem. Assets. Feed down the systems. Does it say really? Ran 3 commands. This one-day shutdown was calculated and spiteful. Oregon wasn't able to process services for the day for 295 recipients. Sends to things. He apologized. Okay. It sounds like the systems were on-prem if he was issuing commands like that. Also 2016. Okay. We don't know the operating system. They were IT in the United States. Attribute. Availability. Interruption for 24 hours, we'll say, because they keep saying 1 day. No unknown stuff. Okay. Targeted. This is very targeted. He did this specifically out of spite. Discovery method. We don't know. Obviously, it could have been either they discovered their own systems were offline, or someone called in, they didn't work. So we don't know whether it's internal or external. It doesn't really matter in this case. Value chain doesn't really apply because he had the accesses he needed. Impact was distracting. Felt through having to deal with the incident. Plus, subsource, this is random assignment, was a misuse action by an internal actor on a server asset compromising availability. And it's really that one step. Mark it validated. We'll save it, and then we're going to copy it off over here. We do that just in case you make any mistakes, like last time on stream, I was in a rush. I hit the clear button. It said, "Do you sure you want to clear these?" And I said, "Yes." And what I meant to hit was the new button, which would have created a new incident. So I cleared all my incidents accidentally, which was a mistake, but I had them backed up in the text file, so it wasn't an issue. Okay. Let's go on to the next one. We'll close this issue. Pretty cut and dry. And what's next? Vendor arrested after charging $724 for 2 beers during golfing game. Do we think this is a breach? I don't know. A beer vendor was arrested Sunday at Hard Rock Stadium after using a Square reader to charge more than $700 at a fan's credit card during a Miami Dolphins game. They're charged a 3rd-degree grand theft for license skimming, possession. Oh, he had a skimmer. That's what it was. Victim ordered 2 beers. Collins, I think, gave him the credit card to pay them, but police said Collins used the personal credit card to charge the victim $724, which was notified. So the main reason this would show up in our data is because of the skimmer. Because if a company, yeah, like I think the reason it got caught up in our net was the skimming, John. Because we used to get a lot where it was like skimmers, a server of some type or host of some type would be skimming credit cards, and then that was detailed as a breach at the organization. Like this would be a breach at the stadium or by the Dolphins or something. But in this case, I kind of think that the victim is not so much the organization; it's really the individual. And I'm not convinced that the skimmer is an actual skimmer. I think the dude just charged it to the Square reader, and they charge the Square reader as a skimmer. And so what I'm going to do, and it happens a lot. like, or it used to happen a lot, skimming, but I think that it's cutting down because you can't really do it a lot. Like the credit card companies are very good at catching where credit card breaches are happening from a single individual. You know? And so you can either skim a lot from one individual and they notice it and report it, or you can skim a little from a lot of individuals and the credit card company notices it. I'm going to mark this one for Thursday because I think this is kind of borderline. This is the kind of thing that we'd be better off discussing during our Thursday meetings. We have internal Thursday meetings where we code kind of edge cases or really common breaches to make sure we're all on the same page about how to code breaches. And so those should really, I'm going to mark this one as a Thursday one and unassign it from me. And we'll leave it and go on to the next one. Because I think it's questionable about whether really it's the kind of thing people would expect in our report. So security breach brings down shutters on 7pay. That's why it's marked with an impact, is because the company was closed because of it. So what is this? That's not useful. Bosses at retailer 7-Eleven Japan called time on its fledgling 7pay mobile payment service after deeming attempts to recover from a major security breach were too onerous. And hopefully that's the only problem they were having, because sometimes they use breaches to cover up something. It wasn't working well. It said that 31 January, a total of 363,000 had been rated from 808 customers during the attack. Previously placed the number of customers at 900, the amount at 55 million JP. While reiterating a promise to reimburse customers affected by the breach, the company also explained a security review has led to the conclusion it was difficult to continue the service provision, so we can't keep it secure. The lengthy process of resuming full service was a key issue. Ongoing customer concern. They didn't figure anyone would sign back up to it after they breached everyone's data. So the question is this Mobile World Drive? Yeah. So from this, I don't understand what happened. This tells us the outcome, but it doesn't really tell us what the breach was. But I think this was one that had a lot of visibility. And so maybe there's some more details at some news sites. Okay, let's see what this one says. Company released the feature on Monday that allowed customers to scan a barcode with the app and charge a linked credit card or debit card. However, the company received a complaint the next day. A customer noticed a charge they didn't make. The app had a flaw. A hacker would only need to know a user's birth date, date of birth, email address, and phone number, and could send a password request. Okay, so these were password resets. Oh, excuse me. Oh, we definitely have enough to code this now. So we'll copy this in. We're going to add this reference. And let's see. This happened July 1st this year, so it does go in the next report. Confirmed. The GitHub issue 14068. References are, I'm going to put this one in, but I like the databreach.net references tend to be pretty succinct and not as useful for coding purposes, but they can serve as a common kind of reference between breaches. And this one, so these confidence high. It's pretty straightforward what happened here. The incident happened, said by statement, service launched July 1st. They were aware of the breach by July 2nd. Put down on 30 September. Said by total, so maybe July, well, use that as the date, 2017 or 2019. July 31. Compromise. It sounds like people knew in days that this was a possibility. Exfiltration, or in this case, theft of money, happened, I think, within days. It sounds like it was happening over. Let's see, app also defaulted people's birthdays to January 1st in instances where they didn't fill out the field, making it easier Summary break of the account. Do we have any better date information here? Not really. App have flaw. So, okay. Discovery happened within hours, really. Because they were notified within the next day. But containment seemed to take weeks. Because it took them till the end of the month. Or they were still losing money at the end of the month. So close the timeline. The victim is 7-Eleven Japan, I guess. 7-Eleven Japan, number of employees. I don't know if that's going to work, but it's worth a shot. 7 7-Eleven Japan Company Limited. Sure. Okay. Number of employees, 9,000. Puts them 1 to 10,000. That's February 28th. That's a pretty good date for that. Oh, who am I getting messages from? Not there. Not there. Okay. Industry. What is the industry that 7-Eleven is in? I wonder if they fall under convenience stores or under like gas shops. By the way, John, do you like the background noise, kind of the outdoorsy type stuff? For me, I like it because it provides kind of a nice kind of background when I'm not talking. Oh, I'm glad you like it. Like, it makes a difference for me, but I don't know how it is for people watching it. But it's really nice, and it comes from mynoise.net, which has the coolest things. I use them all the time when I'm like doing data analysis, because they can kind of provide that background noise I need without like voices or music that might be distracting. Locations, we're gonna say 1 because it's the web app. And that should be East Asia, China, state. This is, I don't know where the state. So we don't really know where in Japan. I guess we can find where 7-Eleven Japan is located. Corporate profile. Let's see where the 2 more rows. So they have the location, maybe. Maybe not. Tokyo. Okay, and so is Tokyo its own region of the country in Japan? I don't know. Japan, GP, Tokyo so is there like a Tokyo prefecture? Tokyo. Looks like maybe it has its own prefecture in Kanto. I guess Kanto is maybe the region. JP-13. Nice. Okay. And then the action here was hacking abuse of functionality through a web app. So they abused the functionality of the web app to reset the email. And then they used it again they received the credentials and then they logged in again through the web app. So this was used to infiltrate and exfiltrate. So it's really doubling up on these actions. The actor is an ex-turtle. Unknown, because this is not kind of your standard process. But certainly financially motivated. Like, I don't want to say organized crime because it's possible that some just unscrupulous person kind of stumbled along this and then just wrote a script to do it. As opposed to kind of the attacks that follow very structured methodologies. We don't know the region, the actor, of course. The asset was a web application in both cases. So server, web app, where are we? Here we are. We'll say 1 web app. Hosting is unknown. It was IT in Japan. to assume. Attribute. Confidentiality. Oh, it's confidentiality. Yes, confidentiality was breached because they had access to the account. And we're going to say personal information, but and also possibly bank information, right? Well, we don't know. They had access to the account, but we don't know what all information, like if you could actually see the credit card number, which you normally can't. And they said 700 something people were involved in this. 900 initially, but I thought somewhere it said they reduced it. 808. Okay. So data total is 808. Also, so they had their data moved, and then that was used for a fraudulent transaction. And so, okay, targeted, this was opportunistic. Discovery method, they were notified by, I think we'll say security researcher, someone figured out you could do this. May not have been a professional, but someone, we'll go with unrelated third party. And then the value chain, someone had to develop a the exploit to send back to kind of guess people's information or to make use of it, and to brute force it, they had to have some kind of not non-distribution services, but targeting would have been through I don't know. We don't know how they were targeted, honestly. How did the attackers just use every address, or did they have some way of knowing who had access to the service? Distribution was through a not through a website. They really didn't have distribution because they attacked directly. But I mean, probably a botnet was used to access it, unless these people were just hammering it directly from their computer or VPN. But again, we don't know about distribution as well. Cash out was fraudulent transactions. And actually it'd be stolen goods, right? Because they would change the account, the email address, and then they'd have access to the app, and then they'd use the app to log in to buy things at 7-Eleven. So they were buying stolen goods, so they would have to sell stolen goods. Money laundering, we don't know if they did any money laundering. I really wish we knew more about kind of this. I wish that got reported more often. The impact, we actually know the impact. I don't know, it didn't end the business. It ended the line, but it was certainly damaging. Currency... in future versions, I'm going to remove the currency, all the currency things, and everyone's just going to have to convert to dollars. It's just too much of a pain to deal with. So, okay. 363,852 was stolen. I don't know what, there's no max amount. Well, I guess they know it pretty exactly. Variety, there was certainly business disruption was major because they never brought it back online. Asset and fraud rating was, minor, and 363,000. I'll say moderate. It's like, it's not major for any large company, but it's a chunk of change. And then, I think that they really had brand damage because no one would want to sign up for it because they lost a bunch of people's money. Okay, plus, this was a random assignment. It started with a hacking action by an external actor on a server asset to compromise the confidentiality of people's, to get the to reset the passwords and then get access to their systems. and then another hacking action by an external actor on a server using to compromise the integrity of the systems for fraudulent transaction. I'm going to put in the notes for these. This one was reset users' passwords to gain access to 7pay accounts. And then this one was use 7pay accounts to steal money. And we don't really know about the rest of this, but we can validate this and copy it off. We'll create another tab here. This in here. And we'll create another new one while we're up here. We have a time for at least one more. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, had cold for a while. Close this one down. Close these. And we'll go back to the list. Nichi.com reports data breach. Okay. This is a California government one. Nichi greatly value our relationship with UP folks that we just compromised. No evidence that personal information has been misused. Okay. We are writing to make you aware of a security incident so that you may take any necessary precautions, including resetting your password. Your niche password specifically. If I were you, I would reset your password everywhere you used it, but you know. You may have received a prior notice from us informing that your account had been locked by us until you reset your password. July 24th, we discovered that the login points for users on the website were subject to an automated attack. The attack attempted to gain access to accounts using username third pairs, externally available sources. While our investigation found no evidence that user account information was compromised or changed, there were successful logins detected for certain niche users from a source believed to be part of the attack. Yeah. Or, just use a password manager and keep all your passwords, keep unique passwords for all your sites. It is much better than having to reset all your passwords. It's like, I remember back when we used to think that keeping a book of passwords written down was a terrible idea. Nowadays, it's like, look, it's a lot more effective to write down passwords to all your sites if it means you keep separate passwords for each of your sites than it is to, remember one password. Yeah, I use LastPass as well. It's worked really well for me. And there's also, was it 7Password? And I mean, there's a lot of good password managers out there, a lot that work well enough to do the job. Like, frankly, I never see the majority of the passwords because they're just random passwords that are created by LastPass and put in, and the fact that password resetting is reasonably useful makes it so that, if the mistake happens, you can do something about it. And then for all my secure stuff, I use a YubiKey and two-factor authentication. For anything that, is important or anything that can be used to reset a password, you want to use two-factor authentication for. So, I mean, this was just a credential stuffing attack, and these guys really weren't. They did nothing wrong, right? They were just attacked, and they are disclosing it appropriately. So this is interesting. We'll code this up because it's interesting that we are now seeing credential stuffing reported this way, which I kind of like. I like the fact that they report these. So it starts to highlight it. Come on. Credential stuffing. Yeah, I got some family members to use it, but then they they forgot their master passwords and then were frustrated that meant they couldn't get their passwords again and stopped using them. It's like, Yeah, that was the one thing you did need to remember was your master password. Uh, you know, or at least have like backup keys or something for it. Yeah, it turns out if you say that loudly to your family, it doesn't work as well as one might have hoped. Yeah, credential stuffing. I mean, it's just credential stuffing. Confidence, medium. Like, there's not a whole lot of details here. We know what date it happened. 2019, July 24th. Did they detect it? Well, I guess they said you may have gotten a password, may have received a prior notice of password reset, but though we did not find evidence, we really don't know. Compromise. At most hours, exfiltration, unknown, because they say that nothing happened, but who knows. Discovery, this letter came out on August 16th, so we really don't know kind of even the units that were for discovery or containment. We know the upper bound of them, but we don't know them exactly, or even roughly. The victim is Niche. It's a Niche LLC. They include a lot of information here. For more information, what we are doing, what you can do, recommended steps to help protect your information. Do they publish their coding experience? Niche.com. We'll just put, I don't know. I don't know what niche.com is incorporated as a company. Niche.com. Find your niche. Discover schools, computer. Okay. So, about the company. About. Let's see, is this the same About Us page? Yeah. Is this a work at niche? Your ideas. This doesn't tell me who the company is. Niche.com Incorporated. .com Incorporated. Okay. Number of employees, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. By, it looks like 1, 2.5 rows, 3.5 rows maybe. So 70 employees. I want to say 10 to 100. Industry. This is that data industry. Data processing, hosted, related services. Here's the default one, United States. It sounds like they are located in California, maybe because they report under California's laws. So contact information, no, because no one ever puts contact information. Careers, data scientist, parents, and is based in Pittsburgh, PA. So, good to know. USPA. So can I remove this? By the way, this is like a responsible company. Like, detecting it, disclosing it, even if like it really wasn't their fault. This was a brute force attack. Well, not really. It was use of stolen credentials, really. Where's use of stolen credentials here? We may not have use of stolen credentials in malware. Even though, that's a good point. So, they were stolen credentials. And the way we normally code these is use of stolen credentials through the web app. This is clearly credential stuffing to infiltrate. And we don't have any evidence of exfiltration. But this brings up a good point, which is, should there be a parity use of stolen credentials in the malware category to handle credential stuffing? So we'll create an issue for Varus for next year to look at that. So should there be credential stuffing in malware, in action.malware? And the reasoning behind that, the reasoning being that credential stuffing is an automated attack, but use of stolen credentials only occurs in hacking, action.hacking. Okay. We'll label this as a enumeration issue because it's just adding another enumeration within action. And submit the issue, and it's in the various repo for us to look at the various issues. Should there be credential stuffing action malware? Okay. So really, that's all that we have. They don't disclose anything else. In fact, they say there was nothing else by an external actor, clearly organized, clearly financially motivated. We don't know where the actor would be from. The asset was one web app. Patient, amount, one web app. Current assets, other cloud. I wonder, let's see. Is that right? I know I was talking to these folks earlier, and it'd be useful for kind of looking at whether something was likely cloud or on-prem. Say other for now. Or, excuse me, unknown for now, because we don't know how they're hosted. IT, United States. Attribute is, let's see, confidentiality, data disclosed. I'm not marked potentially because they say that the attacker's logged in, but we don't know whether the attacker is actually got anything by logging in. You know, because if they already had the credentials, I guess they confirmed that the credentials were used. So yes, credentials, they confirm that these credentials work on this site, so the credentials are breached. There's possibly other information that's not known. It was customer data, likely stored encrypted. Data abused. It's unknown. Partner data, no. Credit monitoring, I don't think they offered credit monitoring because this isn't a credit type site. Very opportunistic. Discovery method, it sounds like internal, but we don't know exactly how. Value chain, development, certainly exploit code, the credential stuffing software. Targeting was by email address or by credential, really. Lost or stolen credentials. Distribution, we don't know how distribution happened, and we don't know about non-distributed services. Cash out, unknown. We don't know how they intended to cash out or if they intended to launder the money. We just know that they were stuffing credentials. The impact was trivial, insignificant. Nothing really happened. And then this was a random assignment by a so this was a hacking action by a external actor on a server asset, compromising confidentiality, the credentials. We can mark this one as validated. And I need to check. I may have a meeting right after this, so I may not be able to do another one. I need to look at my schedule really quick and play some Jeopardy music or something while I go check this. I need to get like the little soundboard thing that cool streamers have. Nope, I got a little bit of time. So we're gonna do one more. Since I only did half of them yesterday or last week. Close this one and we will do one more. 7pay next. Looks like it maybe didn't do my assignments for this week. Did I get assignments this week or did I not? This was assigned 18 days ago, so that was an assignment for this week. Newer ones, 15 days ago. Opened 4 days ago. Huh. I need to look at why the script is assigning some and unassigning others. But it looks like maybe the script ran and did the assignments. So it's supposed to. I've been playing with our assignment script a little bit, and it should have run over like Sunday, which would have been 2 days ago. So it ran, it did some assignments, but it doesn't feel like it did as many as it should have. I'm not quite sure. So, okay, London Council fined $145,000 for leaking gangs info. Okay. As always, a unique and interesting one. Let me see. London County has fined the UK's data. It's been fined by the UK data protection regulator after accidentally leaking highly sensitive police intelligence to non-authorized third parties. Okay. Yeah. So, John, like what the streamers now have are, what are they called? They're known by the company name that builds them, but they're basically like little OLED buttons. But that way, like, so I stream with OBS. It's off to the side over here. In fact, let's see. I don't think there's anything unique about it. Like, it looks like this. But trying to like change scenes or things like that is like I gotta move my mouse over there and click the little itty bitty button. And so instead, what the useful thing is to have all those functions as kind of like OLED buttons in front of you where you can just kind of hit them. And it's like a little $100 toy that kind of does it. But I thought it'd be useful. Put it on my Christmas list. It would be useful to like be able to change scenes or, you know, have background music or such. You know, kind of like very similar to the talk radio thing, but without the zaniness. Not my style. So, but it would be much more useful because otherwise I spend all my time sitting over here and like fiddling and choosing the wrong scene and things like that. So, okay. Council employee accidentally emailed 44 recipients redacted and unrestricted versions of the gang's matrix back. Okay. In January of 2017. The ICO revealed last week the recipients included the council's youth offending team and outside voluntary organizations. So this is going to be an error. Be pretty straightforward to code. Analysts confirmed. But this is going to go into the 2018 corpus. Go in as a 2018 corpus because it happened in 2017. Okay. Here our reference is this. And I guess there's another reference here, the actual, well, another reference. Summary, sensitive gang information emailed by police to multiple organizations not authorized to receive it. Confidence. This one should be pretty cut and dry error. Confidence, timeline, incident, year, 2017. Follow when it appeared that this information leaked onto Snapchat where rival gangs shared photos of the database between May and September. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, that doesn't. We're not going to code the follow-on effects. Compromise. This is kind of minutes to send an email. Filtration takes seconds as it sends. Discovery, it is unknown. Clearly, they didn't discover it quickly because it leaked out pretty quickly. And containment really doesn't apply, I don't think. See, the victim is the London Council. London Borough of Newham in Newham. London Borough of Newham. Apparently is who leaked this. Okay. Employees. I wonder how many employees they have. London Borough of Newham. Leadership is a mayor. It's 300 and something thousand people that live there. Local employees are in low paid work. That is not helpful. Borough of Newham, let's see what they show on 2,000 some followers. And the important part right there is that we know that they're a large organization. The biggest thing is to get between large and small. Like, okay. Yeah, like when it comes to like the streaming stuff, John, I've like I looked at all the things, but I've got a lot of them. Like I've got a reasonable mic, though it has some quirkiness to it, so I need to replace it. But I use like a normal XLR mic. I've got a microphone amp. I need a small not mixer, but I forget what it's called. I need a couple small audio devices to do little things. And then the soundboard, or like I use, apparently like all the streamers just use these basic Logitech cameras, which I've got a really old one, but I think it's the predecessor, the one that people kind of normally use. What I could use is a light screen, just so that when I'm sitting here and it's dark, it's not as dark. But I've got so many monitors, I'm not sure where I'd put it. It'd be right above me and have these weird shadows. And my monitors actually do a relatively good job of providing the light anyway. And so like the little control board is like one of the few things I actually need for streaming. Because I already had a bunch of stuff, especially I used to record audio. Yeah, like I just put it like right down here and shine up at me. Yeah, no, I thought about like trying to find a way. What you're really supposed to do is get like the lights, and then you get the big diffusers and such. But it still would be like 3 feet above me to have to do it. Like it would literally be up here, and like what up here, like shining down. So I'm not sure even if diffused light would work particularly well. It might though. It's always worth a try, and they're not too expensive. So let's see. We're gonna look for Great Britain. Locations affected 1. Industry. This is like executive. Well, I mean this is executive branch government. I don't think that we'll do executive offices. Because I don't think it was the police department that shared it. It was council, right? This would be Western Europe, which is where in here? Western Asia, Eastern Europe. Western Europe. I need to just list out, there it is, all the like major regions on here. So, state, I'm not gonna bother with that. So, let's see. Yeah. Like I need my whole streaming room with the whole set. The problem is it's like I've got a decent amount of room. It's more my problem is the like all the monitors I have. I'd have to like decrease the number of monitors to get to do it. This was an error by a misdelivery. Sounds like someone being careless. By an internal actor. We don't know the kind. No motive. The asset was a server, so an email server that was used. We don't know whether it's cloud or not, but certainly IT in Great Britain. United Kingdom. Attribute. Confidentiality. Was data disclosed? Yes. We don't know the amount, I don't think, but it was internal data. In fact, actually, it's more like secrets. Internal data is like system data rather than secrets. So secrets of, see, the victim organization. This is information from the victim organization. Stored, unencrypted, and then targeted, not applicable because it was accidental. Discovery method, they don't really say. Or I think it's just purely unknown. I don't think we know whether someone told them about it externally or they realized they sent it probably external, but given that like they didn't call everyone to send it back immediately or delete it, but so it's not really clear. Confidentiality, secrets, yeah, we did that. Impact, I think it was distracting, but I don't know that there were hard costs involved. And then plus, subsource, this was a random assignment. Event chain, a error by a internal actor on a using a server caused compromised confidentiality. And we can knock that one out. That one's a relatively straightforward one, though a weird one. But anyway, put that up here. It takes us a little past 10. So thank you for dropping by. I appreciate it. We'll be back again Thursday to do a little bit more. Until then, have a good week.